you for joining us this evening. We are very excited to share with you about Patti Welder Middle School and the implementation of a grant for next year and future years for personalized learning here at Patti Welder. I want to give you a little background about how we got here and how the district got to this point in this direction. We have a goal in VISD for 100% successful launch rate from pre-K to 12th grade. And so we know that middle school are crucial years in preparing students for their AND. And what we mean by an AND is we want every student in VISD to have a high school diploma and a career certification, a high school diploma and a college acceptance, a high school diploma and a military acceptance. We want all of our students to have one of those ANDs or many of those ANDs. And so looking at the middle school level, we know we want to prepare our students to take advantage of those dual credit courses, those career courses that our high schools offer at both East and West. And so the district applied for some school action fund grants, which we were fortunate enough to receive one of them with many districts in the state as well as receiving these grants. And so this year we've been in the design phase where we received $210,000 to start designing what we want Patti Welder to look like and how we can best serve our students and our community for that successful launch. And if we do a good job of planning this year, we have an opportunity to receive $500,000 next year during the implementation phase of this grant. So a part of this grant are some requirements. We've got to link to the Effective Schools Framework. We've got to include blended learning, components of blended learning, include high dosage tutoring for our students, an extended day or year for our students, which for us, we chose a summer school opportunity that will be optional for our students, and then including social emotional learning on a daily basis for our students is become very key to our grant design. And so first, we got a committee of our community members together of teachers and staff and have talked to alumni and other people in the community looking at why schools must change. And we know that schools have looked very similar throughout the years. And even as technology came about, some more collaboration, but for the most part, school has looked very much the same. And then we know a year ago now with COVID, our world was turned upside down and really had to change overnight in our delivery of instruction and reaching our students completely virtually. And we know that throughout this year, we've been doing a combination of that. So moving forward, we want to make sure that we take what we've learned through this last school year as well as the changing needs of our students, of our community, and our world. We know that students have some unfinished learning from what we experienced last spring and throughout this school year. We want to make sure that we have opportunities to personalize learning for students, to meet them where they're at, to get them all to the goal we want them to get them in high school and beyond. We also know that society is rapidly changing. And so if you look at research of teenagers and increase of loneliness and anxiety and depression, we want to make sure that we do a better job of social emotional learning and developing habits in our students so that they can be successful in high school and they can be successful in the working world. We also know that jobs have changed greatly in the last 100 years, and we have to prepare our students for jobs that don't exist. We have to also prepare our students to relearn their job and to be learners. We also know through the internet and the amount of information that is out there for our students to sift through, we have to take that into account as we're thinking about how we teach our students to process all of that information. We also know for Patti Welder specifically that we have a great history in our community of serving Victoria, but we also know that that we want to do even better for our students and their performance and their future. So one of my favorite parts of this design process was conducting empathy interviews with our design team, from alumni and current students and parents and community members, to see what Pattie Welder has been doing well, and then what we can do a better job at to serve our community. And themes clearly came out of those interviews. One was the power of community, that there are some great things happening at Pattie Welder, and definitely a great community atmosphere that we want to double down on. One thing that also came out is that we want to make sure that we have high expectations for our students so that we prepare them for the opportunities that our high schools offer now in dual credit in career classes. And that also we want to empower our students through responsibility, motivation, and student agency. And so we took those themes and developed graduate aims that are really the key to our design for next year, of looking at when a student leaves Pattie Welder as an 8th grader, what do we want to make sure that every student has? And looking at our campus as a whole, of everything that happens from the lunchroom to drop off to math class, how are we emphasizing these graduate aims? That it's not just one lesson a week or a month, but it's really integrated into who we are at Pattie Welder, that we're developing students that have interpersonal skills through communication, through connection, that we are developing self-direction of our students by looking at their personal decision-making and developing goals, reflecting on those goals, developing a love of learning with our students, and a curiosity and a growth mindset that they can always improve, get better. There's always more to learn. And then lastly, the foundational knowledge and skills and reading and math to make sure that they can be prepared for some of those gatekeeping exams in high school, like TSI, like some of the career tests, so that our students can pursue their and that they're prepared for the working world. And so looking at how we're going to achieve these aims, we're going to make sure that everything we do at Pattie Welder next year, that we're reflecting on how are we developing connection and community in all aspects of our school and in our students. We are going to make sure we're looking at high expectations for all of our students, unlimited opportunities for all of our students, and then developing active self-direction for our students in their decision-making. So the best way to understand what we're designing is to look at a day in the life of a student next year here at Pattie Welder. And we've had the awesome opportunity of having these two students, Genesis and Emilio, on our design team. And that has been a great perspective to our design, is having the students sit on this committee to make sure that we are developing a design that is going to work for students. And so I'm going to go through what a day in the life of Genesis and Emilio would look like through this grant. Next year, we are set to start with 6th grade only, but we have plans then to move to 7th and to 8th grade. But here we have Genesis. He is a 7th grade student. He loves his classes, is a leader, plays all sports, actually is running in a track meet this evening, our district track meet. Emilio is a 6th grader. He loves band, and he is definitely known around campus for his kindness. And so these students next year at Pattie Welder, one thing that's going to really differentiate us is that our students will have a morning and an afternoon advisory. And so the first class that they go to will actually be an AVID advisory type class, where we will have pod meetings, circle meetings, character ed lessons. We will have goal setting check-in with their teacher. We will have college visit speakers. We'll develop their skills in practicing how they access tutorials. And the purpose of this is really to double down on that social emotional learning for our students, to develop the habits that they need to be successful, to develop those conflict resolution skills and how they communicate with others, how they repair harm if any harm has been done to another member of our community. And we're very, very excited about this. And students immediately, when they start as a sixth grader, we know that transition can be tough from elementary to middle school, where they're used to just having one teacher or a couple of teachers in a small class. And now you're going to 7 classes. And to make sure that they have that adult that they can go to ask any question to, that they have an adult on campus that helps them with their goals, with their organization. And in the afternoon, they will also have the opportunity to then check back in with that teacher and those students to reflect on the day. Who did they positively impact? Is there anybody that they do need to check in with that things didn't go well with that day? What materials do they need for homework? It's really hard, that 7-class organization for a middle school student. And so making sure that they have what they need for homework, or reminding them that they need to go to tutorials that evening. And so our teachers are very excited about this. The students that were on the committee are very excited about this, as well as parents that I've talked to that have 6th graders coming next year. As they worry about that transition to middle school, this will really help our students in the transition and developing their goals and the organization and the connection that they need to be successful, as well as what we're doing in advisory and AVID will support our discipline system, our expectations, and making sure that we are making wise choices here at Patti Welder, and we reflect when we don't make the best choice and think about next time how we can do it better. And so our assistant principals will be utilizing a restorative type protocol when they're working with students as well. And so advisory is going to help achieve those graduate aims that I talked about with interpersonal skills, self-direction, and a love of learning and setting their goals throughout advisory at the beginning and the end of the day. Within our 6th grade class, we will also have pods where it will make the community feel even smaller, because they'll have all the same 6th grade teachers for their core classes, and then another pod will have all the same 6th grade teachers. And that allows teachers to communicate with students and make sure that they're meeting your students' needs. Another key component next year for our students will be blended learning and a modified block schedule. So our bell schedule will look a little different than other middle schools, where students will go to 50-minute classes Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, but on Wednesday and Thursday, they will have an extended block in all of their classes. And this is going to allow our students to access that blended learning, where a teacher is going to be able to conduct whole group instruction and then pull a small group of students that might need help with a specific skill, while another group of students might be on the computer on Mathia, extending their learning or reinforcing something that they need assistance with. And it will allow the teacher to meet students' individual needs in that longer block of time, because we have students at all different points now with COVID and some of the unfinished learning. And we want to make sure that we are looking at students exactly where they are. And we're even going to set goals in our blended learning time with our teachers, so that students are making sure that they're tracking their progress as well. In English and blended learning, it's also going to allow for stations, personalized learning, even some book clubs where students will be reading different books, and the teacher's going to be able to meet with different groups of students. And this extended block is really going to allow for deeper learning. We've heard from teachers that sometimes 50 minutes isn't enough time to dig deeply. And just as you're getting into something, then the bell rings, especially for like science classes, doing extended science experiments or doing a debate in social studies. This modified block is going to really allow for extended focused instruction to personalize it for our students. And again, everything that we're doing on this campus, we're looking back at our graduate aims. Another key component of our design for next year is making sure, again, we're personalizing that learning for our students. We're getting them to the goal we want them to get to, and that is going to be through high dosage tutoring as well. So all of our teachers will have a time after school or before school that they'll offer tutoring, and it won't be required for your student to attend, but sometimes your student will be encouraged to come to get that extra support. We will also have some Saturday tutoring sessions. And then we will also have an optional summer session. Again, this will not be required for your student, but we might encourage your student to take advantage of this opportunity where they're going to have some time for a check-in like they normally do with advisory, and then an extended math and English blended learning block. And then the really exciting thing about our summer session for future summers is the opportunity for passion projects. And so they will be able to pursue something that they are interested in the afternoon after they finish with their math and English for the day, something maybe that they didn't have time to look at in depth in the school year that is of interest to them. And then on Fridays, very excited about weekly excursions and giving our students some opportunities in the community to visit places that they don't get an opportunity to visit during the school year. And again, everything we're doing, we are tying back to those graduate aims for our students. And so our plan is to roll this out for 6th grade next year, and then the following year will be 6th and 7th grade, and then 6th, 7th, and 8th by 2023, 2024. And in talking to our teachers, students, we've gotten feedback. They're very excited about the advisory, AVID, social emotional learning piece, where they're going to be able to develop connections with your students, set goals with them, check in at the beginning and the end of the day. One of the most important things at a middle school, at a school, for me as a principal, is that every student here has an adult that they feel like they can go to, that they trust, and that builds in that system within our campus. Teachers have also liked having those set tutoring times so that students know where they can go to get help, so that they can get extra assistance with some of that unfinished learning. And then also that students are going to have some time for more hands-on activities through those deeper learning, extended learning blocks. So this is a personalized learning campus, and we are blended learning, but blended learning is not what we're currently doing right now with remote and online face-to-face. I've answered many questions about that. It's using really the best of both worlds, because we know nothing is better than a great teacher working with a student in a classroom. And so we want to take advantage of that, but also some of the personalized learning that technology can offer in assessing where a student really is at and giving them the support where they need. But that deeper learning is also going to help our students in, band and PE. They're also going to have extended blocks in the electives, because in our empathy interviews, that's one thing that also came out consistently, is how much band, athletics, some of those clubs meant to our students, how it developed leadership skills in them, how it helped them to pursue their passion in high school. And then our teachers were also very excited about the summer plans of not just having the academic support that our students need, and we want to make sure that we give them the academic skills, but also giving them time for passion projects and for excursions. So thinking back to Genesis and Emilio and these two awesome students that we have on Patti Welder that have served on our committee, it really is looking to that graduation stage at Victoria West in 2026 and 2027. That's when these two will graduate. And a way that seems like a long time from now, but it will be here before we know it. And I tell my teachers all the time that COVID is challenging, and COVID has brought challenges, but that graduation date doesn't change for our students. And we want to make sure that we're doing the best we possibly can to prepare them for that date, so that they know what they're going to do the Monday after graduation, that they know what they're going to do, and they have the skills to be successful. And so that's why we're most excited about this grant, is starting in the 6th grade, really developing the skills and habits they need, developing goals. We know a 6th grader might not know what they want to do for the rest of their lives. I didn't know what I wanted to do for the rest of my life as a 6th grader, and we don't expect them to know that. But developing that goal orientation, that student agency, so that they develop connections between the work they're doing now and their future, so that they are prepared, and we owe it to them to prepare them the best we can, for you as a family and also for our community. So I'm going to turn it over to Araceli Zubieta, who works in the innovation office, to explain to you how you will be able to make a choice to attend Pattie Welder and take advantage of these personalized learning opportunities for your student.
Thank you so much, Ms. Habermight. If you can go to the next, please. So part of our student choice is all the innovation campuses that our students can join. This includes Pattie Welder. Now that you've learned everything that will be available at Pattie Welder, this personalized learning pathway, I'm going to go ahead and show you the next slide, how to begin the application process. So this gives you a brief overview of what is your timeline to take advantage of this great opportunity at Pattie Welder. Beginning on April 1st, the Student Choice Lottery application will open through our platform I'll show you where to find that here in the next upcoming slide, and we'll go through April the 19th. When the lottery choice application does end, you will be notified, and then you will have the opportunity to register through our VISD whole-wide district application, or registration process, to be able to go ahead and commit to that seat choice. So this kind of gives you an overview of what student choice timeline you are going to be wanting to look at. So again, the first thing that you want to do is select the school that you are going to be applying to. In this case, Pattie Welder Middle School for personalized learning. And it's very important that I let you know that students who are currently zoned for Pattie Welder Middle School, whether you are a 5th grader right now at Hopkins and you are scheduled to be at Pattie Welder, I understand you probably already went through the course registration process, then you are already set to be at Pattie Welder. You do not have to submit a student choice application, as you will be receiving priority enrollment. So it's just very important that you know that if you are already a family living in that neighborhood that belongs to Pattie Welder, then you are already part of that Panther family. Secondly, the second step is let's apply. So students that are not currently zoned to Pattie Welder, you must submit an application through PowerSchool platform, and you can find that by going through the Student Services webpage through VISD. You'll see at the bottom there, we've circled it for you, that the application will be available for you, as well as you will have to go back and register, and I'll show you in the upcoming slide how to do that. Parents will be receiving a notification via email and by phone from someone from our office that will let you know if you have been granted that seat choice at Pattie Welder on April the 20th. So again, you'll receive some notification that let you know what that 4th step is going to be. Once you have been notified by our office and through that email, you must accept your child's selection in the lottery by going back into the PowerSchool platform by April 30th, so that you can let us know that you indeed are committing to Pattie Welder's personalized learning pathway. Our 5th step is that then you will go back into PowerSchool and register through the district's registration system that will be open on May 3rd and will be completed 2 weeks after that. So again, you will find the link to all these pages through the Student Services VISD page. And finally, I do want to let you know that if you go through the application process and you do not receive an email from us or a phone call saying that you have been granted an application choice, then you can still apply for choice seats that are remaining after that time frame, and you can do that by requesting a transfer through our district transfer process and request to be a student at Pattie Welder and receive notification from VISD Student Services. And that is the end of our presentation. We are so grateful that you were able to join us today. I know Ms. Ebermeyer and I are so excited about the opportunity to develop your genius and really get to hone in and nourish those school years during middle school. So we hope to connect with you further, and you're more than welcome to visit Pattie Welder's innovation page, as well as the innovation page on the VISD page. Thank you, and you guys have a good night.